So in our last lesson, we talked about angry planets. So we discussed mainly bad weather. We talked about natural disasters. But let's see what we talked before that. What we talked about. We finished this topic. So the topic before it was about being polite by using indirect questions. That was the first topic we finished. And there's more than one way to do that, of course, and we discussed this. So we talked about it, direct questions, indirect questions. And then we talked about the issue of natural rhythm and how to get this natural rhythm. And the way you get this is by paying attention to sentence stress, weak forms, how to say weak forms correctly, how to link. And when this is done, all of it is done correctly and done together, this will lead to a natural rhythm. And when we say natural, it means you will sound more native-like. This is the idea here. All right, so this was the last thing we talked about. And then we started our new topic, which was angry planet. We covered some of the words here in the vocabulary box. All of these words are related to, I think we can say, extreme weather. So we talked about the difference between a storm and a blizzard, for example. So a blizzard is a snowstorm. You have to have snow in a blizzard. We talked about a gale, which is strong wind. We talked about a landslide. So if there's a lot of rain on a mountainside, sometimes what happens is the saturated soil full of water, it slides down the mountain. And it's also very dangerous for the houses that are built below the mountain. So this is a big problem. We talked about tsunami, tornado, hurricane. We talked about these weathers, these extreme examples of weather and some of these natural disasters. We discussed a bit the changes that our country has gone through and whether the weather is the same or not. We talked about this. And we did the reading. We talked about some natural disasters. We talked about tsunamis, drought, the rising sea level if global warming continues. And what else did we talk about? We talked about predicting earthquakes and also the average temperature of the Earth, which has been increasing for a while now. So we did this part, but we haven't started with the grammar yet. We just finished the reading, but we haven't started with the grammar. So the grammar in this lesson is all about the passive. Of course, in the pre-intermediate, especially I think pre-intermediate B in the second half, we talked a little bit about the passive, but we didn't talk about it in too much detail. This time we're going to talk about it in a bit more detail. So this is our topic for today. So now I want you to pay attention to these two sentences. So the first one, it says, earthquakes under the ocean cause tsunamis. And the passive, it says, tsunamis are caused by earthquakes under the ocean. Now, of course, if you compare the two sentences, if you compare them in meaning in general, of course, they're the same meaning. It's saying the same thing. But the way they're saying it is quite different. And when you do it like this, there are some changes that will happen to the meaning. The general meaning is not different, but there are a few specific things we want to understand. So this way we know why the passive is sometimes used in English. What's the point? Why do they use it? Why can't they just use the active all the time? Why make it more complicated and use the passive? اقلب وغير subject حطها هنا حط object. It's such a mess, right? Why not use the active all the time? There is a reason for this, okay? But first of all, to find out the reason, let's cover these questions. The first question, it says, what is the subject of each sentence? So in an active sentence, the subject is always in the beginning, right? So when we say, for example, earthquakes under the ocean cause tsunamis. So earthquakes, this is our subject, right? But in a passive sentence, do we have a subject in a passive sentence?
No object at the first.
We begin with the object, but what about the subject?
Yeah.
Do we have a subject in a passive sentence?
The subject is at the end by the
Correct.
earthquake.
Yes, and do we call it a subject or do we use another word?
No.
What do we call it?
Maybe object also.
Can a subject be an object?
No.
No. So in the passive, when you use the passive, we don't say subject anymore. They give it a new name. What's the new name they give it? Have you heard of the new name?
Yes, I heard, but I forget what it's called.
Okay, don't worry, we'll get there. But they changed the name. Anyway, so let's stay with the active sentence. So the subject of each sentence, the subject of the second sentence, here, earthquakes under the ocean. This is the subject of the second sentence. Now, it says, what is the object of the active sentence? Let's use the blue color for object. So the object of the active sentence, here, tsunamis. This is the object. And it says here, in which sentence is the focus on tsunamis? And which sentence is the focus on earthquakes under the ocean? What do you think?
In active, we focus on earthquakes.
So, that's right.
And in passive, we focus on tsunami.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So you can see here that whatever word you use first is the focus of the sentence. يعني رغم أن المعنى العام زي بعضهم, earthquakes under the ocean cause tsunamis, or tsunamis are caused by earthquakes. The general meaning or the overall meaning is the same, but which is the focus of each sentence, the word which is the focus of each sentence is not the same, it's different. So this is quite important. So the last question, it says here, in which sentence do we use by to say what does the action, to say what does the action.
And the second one, in the second.
So. Yeah, so in the second here, in the passive sentence, we use by to say what does the action, who or what does the action here. So who causes the action؟ من اللي يدير في الفعل؟ اللي هو في الحقيقة earthquakes. So earthquakes are the ones that do the action, right? But in a passive sentence, it's not very important for us who does the action or what does the action. يعني فاعل الفعل ما يهمناش بشكل كبير، يهمنا ناتج الفعل. You get the idea. الباسف دائما مهتم بالناتج أو المفعول به أو الحصيلة الأخيرة تهمنا أكثر من دارها. It's like, I'll give you another common example. In crime, if you remember when we talked about crime in pre-intermediate, the focus was always about the victim, right? So if you remember, we had sentences like this: I was robbed. Or for example, I was robbed. Or for example,
or stolen.
My house was burgled. Or my car was stolen, was burgled. Or for example, my car or Ahmed's car was stolen, right? لاحظوا كلهم في الباسيف. Who can tell me why are these sentences in the passive? What can we use them the active?
No.
Why not? صح وما نقدروش but why?
Because we talk about the object, about our house or our car or
أي ما نقدروش نقلبها. في أمثلة نقدر نقلبها. شوفي مثلا Michael kicked the ball. هذه تو active نقدر نقلبها. نقدر نقول the ball was kicked by Michael, right? But in the first group, can we change them to active? What do you think?
No.
No, we can't. But why?
No.
هو صح ما نقدروش. But why?
I don't know.
What do you
I
think?
It's not suitable. It's not suitable when we change this place.
But here's the question. All of these examples, do we know the subject? Did we say the subject? هل مذكور فيهم السبجكت هذه الأمثلة أو مش مذكور؟ اللي هو أهمال.
No.
Yeah. الفاعل مفقود من الجملة ولا؟ ما نعرفوش من اللي فعل من الفاعل اللي فعل اللي دار الفعل. We don't know who he is or who she is. صح ولا؟ فلما نقولوا I was robbed.
Yes.
ما نعرفوش اصلا من اللي خنبني. right?
مجهول.
هذا ليش في العربي ديما شو يسموا فيه هو في العربي ضمير الغائب
مبني المجهول.
مبني المجهول. ايوه لان الفاعل نفسه مش معروف. you get the idea. so الفكره بصفه عامه في الانجليزي الباسيف او المبني المجهول عاده يستعملوا فيه في حالتين. يا اما ما نعرفوش السبجكت زي في الامثله ما عادة في الجريمة وفي المشاكل هي مش معروف الفاعل مني فتبنى للمجهول وخلاص. لكن في بعض الأحيان نعرفه من الفاعل لكن ما يهمناش. يعني زي مثال tsunamis are caused by earthquakes under the ocean. معروف يعني تم ذكر الفاعل من اللي يسبب في التسونامي اللي هم الزلازل لكن مش ما هيش تركيز الجملة. ما نبوش نركزوا على الزلازل نبو نركزوا على التسونامي في حد ذاته. Do you get the idea؟ فهذا ليش قال لك النمبر 3 الجواب بتاع نمبر 3 it says in which sentence is the focus. هي هذه القصة. here the focus في الأكتف كان الفوكس على earthquake لكن في الباسيف كان الفوكس على التسوناميز. هذه القصة. alright. وطبعا زي ما حكينا اللي هو السبجكت يعتبر اختياري نقدر نذكره ومش شرط نذكره. يعني نقدر نقوله tsunamis are caused by earthquakes ونقدر نقوله tsunamis are caused or tsunamis لا هنا نعتبر المفروض نذكرها لأن إذا ما في caused المفروض في ذكر للسبب. anyways يعني هذه مقدمة سريعة على passive. now here I want you to take a look at this sentence and then choose the correct phrase. Let's take a look. Here it says droughts often happen because all the trees have been cut down. We often use the passive when we know or when we don't know who or what did the action. Okay, معناها عندنا اختيارين حنختاروا منه. نقدر نستعمل يا إما when we know يا إما when we don't know who or what did the action. What do you think? Let's see. Najat, can you hear us? I think Najat has a very poor connection. Can you hear us, Najat? تسمع فينا? Are you there? How's your connection? Not very good. Okay, I can't hear you well, Najat, but it's okay. So here, let's see, Malak maybe can answer it because Najat, I can't hear you. Your connection is not very good.
Okay.
Okay, what do you think, Malak?
We don't know. Mm-hmm.
We don't know who or what did the action. We don't really know. Because if you read this example, it says droughts often happen because all the trees have been cut down. Who cut the trees? We don't know. Maybe the locals,
Yeah.
maybe the neighbors. We don't know, but someone cut them. We don't know who cut them or what cut them. فهذه فكرة يعني. فلما ما نعرفوش في الغالب حنمشوا بالمبني بالمجهول. حنمشوا بالpassive. Okay? So we don't know. We don't know. This is the idea. Poor. Yeah. All right, now let's take a look at C here. It says, look at the passive forms in the article, write them in the table. So now I'm going to show you the article, and let me show you both pages. ممكن أحسن. Oops. Okay, now let me show you. Okay, so let me explain this question now for you. So in this question, in part C, what we want to do is we want to write in each passive, because we have about 5 types of passive. يعني حنشوفهم كلهم من الارticle, and we will write each one, what's the verb to be they used, and which past participle. Okay, so here the first example,
Okay.
this is the first one. So where is it? Yes, so in the present simple passive we use are, and the past participle can it cause. Now let's look at the other examples and let's write them in the table. So can you see this one? هذه الأولى اللي جاوبناها are caused اللي مجاوبينها يعني. تاني واحدة اللي هي can also be caused. So what kind of passive is this? Can also be caused. Let's go back to the table.
Okay.
Excuse me. So can also be caused. Where do we put it? Can also be caused. Can be caused يعني.
B, but it in can be also be.
So the verb form is can. والverb to be استعملناه في الانفينيتيف ولا؟ be استعملناه بالصيغة هذه be.
Yeah.
And the past participle جتنا caused. Can be caused. Can be caused. Okay.
Caused, yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at our second example. Third example. Were killed. Were killed. Okay, so were killed. Where do we put this? Were killed. I'm a group. Were
in
killed.
Continuous, present continuous.
But it says were killed.
No.
Were killed. ما عمني تمشي were. Was and were. ما شنو يعتبروا هذا was and were?
Past.
Correct.
Past simple.
That's it. So we used were في past simple. Will past participle كانت killed. Were killed. Okay, so this is the third example. هذا ثالث نوع من الباسيف موجود في القطعة. Let's look for number 4. مثال الرابع. Can you see this? Have been cut down.
Yeah, present perfect.
Very good. معناته عندنا النوع الرابع اللي هو present perfect passive. Passive في present perfect. have been killed. شنو تاني have been killed؟ لكن ما فيهاش verb to be هذه. have been البن صح. البي أصبحت been. والpresent والpast participle اللي في المثال كانت kill. sorry cut have been cut. alright فتوا استعملنا النوع الرابع have been cut. Let's check the next passive. Will be flooded. Will be flooded. So where do we put this? Will be flooded.
With will.
Correct.
Will.
صح.
On will.
Will be نحطها infinitive زي ما هي. وبعدين flooded. Present past participle جتنا في هيئة flooded. Alright, good. اللي بعدها are going to be hit. Are going to be hit.
Be going to.
صح. So the verb to be is going to be. Are going to be. نقول are going to be أحسن. لأنها be going to. Going to be. والpast participle في المثال hit. Alright, so we still have آخر واحدة اللي هي present continuous. Let's check the examples. Is being caused. Can you see it? Is being caused in the last paragraph. This is the last type of passive we have.
It is present continuous.
That's it. اللي هي is being. هذا الverb to be. جاء في صيغة is being. And is being caused. Yeah. All right. So these are the different ways that we can use the passive. So you can see that we can use the passive in so many different ways. طبعا كل واحدة منهم تعتمد على الغرض المطلوب يعني من استعمالها. So it's different. All right, now let's change them to negatives. So the first one, are caused. So I think it's better if we go to the article itself ونغيروها من الارticle أسهل. So let's do that. Let's change all of these. Let's change them to the negative. So tsunamis are caused by earthquakes. How can we change this to negative? Tsunamis are caused by earthquakes. What do we do?
Aren't.
That's it.
Aren't.
Tsunamis aren't caused by earthquakes. Result. Or they can also be caused by landslides. By a landslide. How can we make this into negative?
Can't.
Yes, they can't be caused. They can't be caused by a landslide. صح? 250,000 people were killed. How do we make this negative?
Weren't.
250,000 people weren't killed. All the trees have been cut. How do we make this into negative? Haven't been cut. That's right. The coast will be flooded. How do we make this into passive? Into negative?
Will not.
Or we can say won't.
Will not.
Yeah.
Won't,
but remember, will not عادة دي ما يستعمل في الcontraction active. Won't شيء active. So the coast won't be flooded. Okay. It is possible to predict which places are going to be hit. Aren't going to be hit. صح. Oops. Yes, aren't going to be hit. صح. This increase in temperature is being caused by man-made climate change. So how do we make this into negative? What do you think? How do we make this? Isn't being caused. صح. Okay, so let's return the one-page review. Okay, now, before we move on, let's take a look at the summary. Let me show you the summary. Page 146, let's take a look. 146, 64, 64. Okay, I want you to take a look at these rules about active and passive. And okay, I'll need to switch on the lights. Just give me 1 second, I'll be right back. But take a look at these few rules about the passive, okay? I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. So here, the main thing we need to understand from the summary is that we don't really have a subject. We don't necessarily need a subject in the passive. You can use it, but it's optional. And do you see what it's called? We don't call it the subject anymore. We call it the agent. Can you see it? The agent here.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the name changes. So this means the agent here is optional. If you use it, fine. If you don't use it, it's okay. You can say I was robbed. My car was stolen. If you say my car was stolen, here you didn't use a subject. You didn't use an agent. And that's fine. In the passive, you can do this. But in the active, you have to use the subject. So earthquakes under the ocean, this is the subject of an active sentence. Cause is the verb, tsunamis is the object. But you can see that in passive, we do the opposite thing. We start with the object. All right, so this is the idea. Okay, let's move on. Let's see if we have any important information here to talk about. Okay, so this table is the same. This is what we did. Can be, will be, are going to be, was and were, have been, has been, are being, is being, am being. It's the same. We could make the negative by using the negative form of be. Okay, they haven't been called. It isn't. They haven't been cut down. Could, must. Many people could be made homeless. This tip is actually quite important. So here you can use the passive with almost all the other modal verbs. يعني احنا في التيبل عندنا can و will فقط. بس الملاحظة تقول you can also do this for could, must, should. معناها تقدر تقولي مثلا many people should be held responsible. Criminals should be held responsible. Or مثلا لو بنستعمل must, options or services must be available at all times مثلا على سبيل المثال. So مش will والcan فقط نقدر نستعمل حتى ال other modal verbs زي could, must, to should. We can also use them in the passive. هذه ملحوظة يعني مش موجودة في الدرس. Okay, now we can go back. We can take a look at some of the exercises and let's do them together. Let's take a look. So here we finished number 5. We finished the table. We took a look at the summary. Number 5, it says, look again at the Q&A article. Underline other examples of passive. Okay, let's take a look. خنشوفوا. I want you to find any kind of passive. حتى اللي مش مقشرين عليهم نبغى ندورهم احنا. We want to find them. Let's take a look. So take a few minutes. Let's here read the first two.
Okay.
Take a few minutes reading the first two. You don't have to read in detail. يعني على السريع skimming. If you find any passive من غير المذكورات الرئيسيات, just let me know and we can نقدر نقشر عليه. We can underline them. هو هذا التمرين مطلوب. Can you see this?
Yeah.
This is passive, right? Water is pushed.
Yes. A large quantity of water is pushed.
Yeah, who pushes it? We don't know, we don't care. It's pushed.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the first one.
Yes.
Can you see this?
Yes. Those is closed.
This is another passive, right? What about this?
Yes, because it isn't held.
Yeah, by the trees. عجتنا الباي طلعت. Can you see it? معناها الايجنت حتكون the trees لو بندور الايجنت للباسيف هذا.
Yes, also are going 10 of millions of
صح.
trees are going to be planted.
That's it.
Planted.
Trees are going to be planted. من اللي حيزرعهم ما يهمناش، المهم بينزرعوا وخلاص. Correct. صح.
Yeah.
All right. تمام. So in A and B طلعنا الباسيفز كلهم. Let's take a look at the other paragraphs. Let's check C و D و E. نشوف. Can you see this, Malak?
Yes, this will be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, in D, I can't find any other.
Yes.
Let's take a look at C.
Has been measured.
Has been measured. صح. اللي هو present perfect passive, correct? So,
Have been recorded. Have been recorded.
And حتى it has increased. لا. It has increased.
No. I saw the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Have been and recorded.
صح. The hottest years have been recorded.
That is.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so this is the idea. They wanted us to look for all the passives. Okay, so we did that in number 5. Listen and practice. God with image in the ocean. Okay, let me just play it for very quickly. I want you to pay attention to the stress. So let's just listen, that's all. Quick listening, just to see weak form and stress when we pronounce or when we read passive sentences. كيف يقروا فيهم. Let's take a look. So intermediate CD2 30. CD2 track 30. CD2 track 30. Let's take a look. So just notice the stress in the weak forms. Just pay attention to them. See how it's done. Let's listen.
Track 30. Tsunamis are caused by earthquakes under the ocean. They can also be caused by a landslide or a volcano erupting. About 250,000 people were killed. Droughts often happen because all the trees have been cut down. A lot of towns and cities on the coast will be flooded. It's possible to predict which places are going to be hit by an earthquake. This increase in temperature is being caused by man-made climate change.
Okay, so if you noticed, the only parts which are not stressed is the auxiliary. لما يوصلوا في الكان ولا يوصلوا في البي usually there's no stress. They say it quite quickly. It's unstressed. But the rest of it, the verbs are kind of stressed. All right, so this was the pronunciation. Now we have an interesting exercise here in number 7. It says here, read about Roy Sullivan in number 7 and what happened to him. Can you see number 7 here? Now, this exercise, you have to choose the right answer. So this means you have to choose between passive and active, depending on the sentence. So take a few minutes.
Okay.
Choose the right option in each one. So you have seven choices, and then we'll take a look. And did you know this is a true story, by the way? This actually happened. Did I tell you about this story before? About
No.
No? Mm.
I finish.
Okay. Let's see your answers. So, okay, this
The earth is hit by lightning.
which one do you want to choose? Hits or is hit by lightning? Is hit? Okay, so let me choose it. Continue.
The scientists say there is one chance you will hit. Yes, you will be hit by lightning.
Is it you will hit or you will be hit?
You will hit.
You will hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But depends on how much time you spend outdoors.
Okay.
Roy Sullivan park ranger from Virginia, USA, hit 7 times in his lifetime.
But here you have
Was hit by lightning.
Okay.
In his lifetime. On different occasions, he lost his toenails.
Okay.
The final lightning streak happened while he was fishing, and he was taken to hospital with the chest.
You mean taken?
No, he took.
Okay.
He took to hospital with chest and stomach burns. Yeah.
All right.
No,
Okay.
he was taken. I'm not sure about it.
Okay. Now the passive is one of the grammar rules which I think you can translate to Arabic fairly well. يعني حتى بالترجمة تقدر تظبطها صح ولا لا؟ دي عرفتي فكرة يعني لو مش متأكدة منها
subject يعني.
لا ما تشوفيهاش من قصة subjects وكذا شوفها كمعنى عام.
Okay, by the meaning, he was taken to hospital with chest and stomach burns.
Taken, you mean?
Yes, taken.
He was taken. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now you have only one mistake. فيهم كلهم. Just one. Let's take a look. هنبدأ من الأول. Let's find it.
Okay.
So the Earth is hit by lightning 8.6 million times a day. Okay. Scientists say there is a 1 in 3 million chance you will hit by lightning. من يضرب الثاني؟ You ولا lightning? What do you think?
Lightning.
Okay.
Lightning.
Yes.
Yeah.
But لكن أنت هنا قلتي you will hit.
Yes. By yes will be. Will be, that's true. Yes.
You'll be hit. So this means lightning will hit you, right? You'll be hit.
Yeah.
Okay, هنكمله. But that depends on how much time you spend outdoors. Roy Sullivan, blah, blah, was hit by lightning 7 times in his life. On different occasions, he lost his toenails. The final strike happened while he was fishing. Okay, now this is correct. Okay, so here we have all the right answers. So when you choose between passive and active, you have to make sure that it makes sense. The meaning is okay. That's the idea. All right, so all of the answers are correct. We can take a look here. Now, what happened to him? All right, it says here, look at the photo. Which city is it? What problems does this city have? Where do you think this city is? Can you guess?
Maybe in England.
Maybe England. And what's the name of the city? What do you think the city is?
I don't know.
You're not sure which city?
No.
Okay. Let's read about this city, and we're gonna find out what's wrong with it. It says here, put the verbs into correct form of the passive. There's sometimes more than one answer. So here in this exercise, it's all in the passive, but you have to choose the right type of passive. Okay, so take a few minutes, try to do this, and then we'll have a little discussion and find out, okay?
Okay. The picture is not clear.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I'm not sure, but I'll try.
Okay, excellent. Let's take a look.
Okay.
So you
These
can
days,
start.
parts of Venice were flooded. Are flooded, maybe.
Okay. Now I'm going to help you decide because it says here one
Okay.
day in 3. What do you think?
One
this?
day,
Why did they use it? One day in 3. شنو
parts
الغرض؟
of Venice.
Why do you think they used this one day in 3? To show what?
I don't know. Or future?
No, not for future. It's like to talk about a habit or a routine, right? It means every one day out of 3, it floods.
Yes, it means correct. Are
Yes.
flooded.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Are flooded.
People believe the water will rise another 20 centimeters in the next 50 years. This means that Venice will be flooded.
Okay.
More often.
Much more.
A lot of money.
Hmm.
A lot of money has been already collected.
Correct, but where do we put already?
Have maybe because a lot of money already have been collected. Has or have, because a lot of money, I think it's a plural.
Money is it. No,
Have
money is uncountable.
Oh, okay. Okay. Has been.
Who has been صح
already collected.
لا لكن already وين نحطها؟
At the first, already has been collected.
No, not in the first and not in the
has
end.
been or has been collected already.
No. Is there another
A
way?
lot of money has already
Yes.
been collected.
That's it. already will just ديما يحطوا فيهم بين الauxiliary وبين ال past participle. Has already been collected, has already been done. He's just finished. She's just سواء already زي بعضه. Okay, so has already. طبعا already هي option. هي حتى لو مش موجودة it's okay. Has already been collected. Okay.
For the savings fund, and now money old buildings where are
Yes.
Are repaired.
Focus on this word.
Are repaired.
Focus on this word.
Yes. Now, yes. Are being repairing.
Yes. That again, past participle. No. Remember.
Yes. Are being repairing. Repaired.
That's it.
Repaired.
Are being repaired. You cannot use ing in the passive.
Yeah,
you have to use past participle.
Repaired. However, more money must be founded. Must be founded.
Must be صح, but what's the past participle of find?
Founded.
Founded كلمة تانية. Founded اللي هي زي تأسيس شركة مثلا. The company was founded. لكن هنا found مش بمعنى وجدت بمعنى تأسست in 1850 مثلا. هي جاية من foundation. Founded تأسيس. لكن احنا نتكلم على find. must be صح، خلينا نكتبه must be أول حاجة. باهي تو مشكلتنا الوحيدة في past
find
participle.
find it
Past participle of find.
not find it.
No.
Found it. Yes, found.
Again.
Found.
So, that's it. Must be found. نفسها هي past simple ونفسها في ال past participle. Okay. More money must be found.
And some people don't think the city can be saved.
Right. Correct.
Most experts agree that if important work don't be work that's difficult. Work not done. That's what it is.
Okay قربتي انت. done صح بقى. خلينا نحط done. Done is correct. يعني ال past participle of do. تمام بقى.
Aren't.
But work is uncountable.
Isn't.
That's it. صح. Isn't done is correct. Okay, continue.
Some of the world's most beautiful buildings has been lost forever. Have been lost forever.
But start from هنا لازم just a second. لازم تشوفي المعنى العام تاع الجملة. Do you get the idea? لازم تشوفي المقصد. شنو يقصده.
Some of the world's most beautiful buildings must be be lost.
Okay, be lost صح. لكن شنو نحطه قبلها. be lost صح. Because this is in the. I don't want to tell you when
Najat
this.
Cheat me.
Najat is
be
helping you.
Yes.
Yeah, but why?
Will.
هي صح جابتها صح. Will. But why did we use will?
Because it talks about the future.
How do we know it talks about the future? How do we know?
I think conditional. As I remember.
What do you think, Najat? Conditional?
Yes, that's right.
هو صح هو تمام.
Important word. Yeah.
صح بقى. انت كويس جاوبتها من الناحيه النحويه. انا كيف جاوبتها بويل ما شفتش قصه الاف. شفت المجمل العام للمقطع كامل. دي قد ايديها. لان هم يدوا على ازمه تعاني منها البندقيه فينيس. يحكوا عليها المشكله. ولو تبدو أن الطريقه اللي خلتني مقرر انها هي ويل لان انا بديت من هنا. كان يصير من هنا most. هلاك لما قلنا most experts agree that if important work isn't done soon, لو أنا ما يديروش حاجة توا حينتج عواقب تانية في المستقبل. لكن كلام نجاة ممكن أدق من ناحية نحوية. لأن فصل conditional اللي هو first conditional اللي فيها ال present simple وفيها will بعدين. وال present simple أصلا تدري على حاجات في ال future. So this is the idea. الباسيف راهو للعلم من المواضيع المهمة جدا 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 للناس اللي هم تدور في IELTS وتدور في الحاجات الأكاديمية أو دراسات عليا أو قبولات جامعية أو الحاجات اللي لها علاقة بالسلك الأكاديمي كلها very very important passive. لأن أغلب الارتكلز مكتوبة بالكيفية هذه بالصيغة هذه. Because in passive we don't really care who did the action. We're more interested in the action itself. So it's very important. Okay, let's take a look at our next exercise. Excuse me. All right, so this is the passive. So here in our next topic, we're going to talk about containers. We're going to talk about quantifiers like a bit of, too much, too many, not enough, plenty, blah, blah. This is an important lesson. هذا اللسن تقدر تقولوا متكرر من الاليمنتري. كل مرة يضيف لكم عليه تفاصيل. ليه علاقة بالcontainers وليه علاقة بالcountable والuncountable. طبعا أكيد أنتم عارفين أن الcountable في هلبة حاجات uncountable غير معدودة. لازم باش نخلوها معدودة to make it countable we add a container. For example, water. If you just say water, of course, water is uncountable. So I cannot say 1 water, 2 waters, 3 waters. But if I use a container, for example, I can say a glass of water, 2 glasses of water, 3 glasses of water. I can say a jug of water. I can say a bottle of water. To get the idea. هذو كلهم نعتبروها اللي هي اليونتس هذه أو الوحدات نعتبروهم containers. So containers are a great way of making something which is uncountable, making it هو مش حتخليها countable, but now you can count it when you use a container because you're going to count the container itself. فهذه الفكرة. So now I want you to take a look at the containers. Okay, so here containers. So we have 2 boxes. Let me start by reading the words in box A. So we have a bottle of, a bag of, a tin of, a box of, a can of, a carton of, a jar of, a packet of. And here we have different foods. If you notice, all of these foods, مش كلهم هو foods, في منهم مش foods. Tissues, ممكن حاجة وحيدة مش food. لكن الباقي كله يعتبر food and drink, okay? All of them are uncountable. Do you get the idea? All of it is uncountable. So now what I want you to do is, I want you to think of at least 2 items for each container. So if I say a bottle of, what can we use a bottle of for? A bottle of what?
A bottle of water.
We can say a bottle of water.
A bottle of
لكن هل عندنا water في
a bottle of
list?
milk.
We can say a bottle of milk.
No.
We can. اللي هم الشيش المرش, right? Glass bottles.
Yes.
القدم يمشي حالهم. Yeah, bottle of milk. Okay. What else can we say? A bottle of what?
A bottle of orange juice.
Yes. ممكن لو جاتك في bottle يمشي الحال. Okay. Okay. What about a bag? A bag of what?
A bag of rice, or of it's rice here.
Do we have rice? We don't have rice.
No. Okay, a bag of
Can we say a bag of honey?
no.
Can we say a bag of soup?
No.
Can we say a bag of beer?
What's the mean beer?
Beer, alcohol, beer. The alcoholic drink,
okay.
beer. Can we say a bag of beer? Okay, can we say bag of olive oil? I'm giving you all the wrong answers. No.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so what can we say? A bag of what?
A bag of beans.
Sweets.
A bag of sweets يمشي الحال. Yeah, maybe. What else? A bag of what?
A bag of cat food.
Bag of cat food. ماشي الحال حتى هو. Okay. Chocolates. A bag of chocolates. لو كانوا chocolates اللي هم البونبونات صغار ماشي الحال ممكن يعني. صح. يمشي مقبول يعني ماشي الحال. بس في حاجات أحسن.
Crisp.
A bag of crisps. ممكن bag of crisps باين ماشي الحال. What about a tin? A tin of. And what's the difference between a tin and a can?
Tuna.
A tin of tuna.
Yes, you described that at a lesson.
Yeah.
It means A tin of and a can of.
Yeah, there is a small
I
difference.
think if it is tall, maybe. If it is
Correct.
tall, I think it's tall.
Tall and
Can.
tall and kind of hard. And sometimes you need a
Yeah.
can opener to open it.
Hard.
In Libya,
Yeah.
I think we have tomato paste. Tomato paste
can.
is usually
Yeah.
in tins. A tin of tomato paste.
Oh, yeah.
But for example, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, it's in a can. Or bitter soda,
Okay.
for example.
It's more light.
It's lighter, it's thinner, and it doesn't need an opener, a can opener. You just pop it up, pop it open.
Okay.
All right, so
tuna. It is
tin of
maybe
tuna,
not,
correct? No, I think tin of tuna is correct. It's correct, tin of tuna.
Yeah.
What else? What else can we say? A tin of what? Anything else?
No, there isn't anything
I think there
for
is.
tin. Yeah.
There are two things that we can use with a tin. من غير tuna.
Beans.
Beans, صح?
Beans.
صح? What else? There's one thing else.
Jam. No, not jam. No.
No, not jam.
Not.
What else? What else comes in tins? Maybe Najat can help. What do you think, Najat?
Cat food.
I think cat food. I agree. You can buy cat food in a tin.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And a box. What about a box? A box of what?
A box of biscuits.
A box of biscuits? I don't know. We use another. I think we have a packet of biscuits. أحسن من box of. I don't think we can. Box of biscuits. Box of.
We don't have something. A box of chocolates.
A box of chocolates, maybe. Yeah. What else?
A box of cheeses. Cheeses.
What is it? Tissues.
Tissues.
A box of tissues.
Tissues. Yes.
Box of tissues. Tissue box. Yeah. Yeah. Box of tissues. مش الحال هو tissue box. ماشي الحال. Okay. Okay. A can. A can of what?
A can of
what do you think?
lemonade. Lemonade.
A can of lemonade, maybe. Maybe. What else?
Orange juice.
Or maybe a can of orange
juice.
ممكن تجي في كان حتى هي صح. What about beer?
Beer, yes.
Beer, you can have it in a can, and you can have it also in a bottle, right?
Bottle, yeah.
All right. What about a carton?
Carton of crisp.
I don't think so. A carton is like زي باكو الحليب نقول له carton. نفس الشكل هذاك is usually carton.
Milk.
A carton of. Sorry. Milk maybe. مع انهم في يقولوا carton of milk مش الحال. أعتقد packet of milk لا هو يقولوا carton. Carton of orange juice maybe. Okay. What about a jar?
Jar. A jar of jam.
A jar of jam. Marmalade.
Marmalade.
Yeah.
Marmalade.
Can we say a jar of honey?
Ketchup.
A jar of ketchup.
Yeah. Honey. Honey.
Honey. Jar. Do you know what a jar is? Fazzo. Do we have ketchup in a jar, Najat? I think you can have ketchup. maybe بالك نجات تشي بالعبوة الكبيرة ال 10 كيلو بتاع المطاعم هذيك ممكن.
Yes.
وتفتح فيها من فوق وتغمس maybe بالخبز. Maybe you like ketchup a lot. But I think usually ketchup. Usually it's a bottle of ketchup I think. ولا ممكن packet. لو كان الظروف الصغيرة زي متاع الفاست فود زي متاع الماكدونالدز والبرجر كينج هذوك يقولوا لهم باكيت. ف I don't know. جار اعتقد هذا جام ومارماليد وهني. ما I don't think we can use it for anything else. Now a packet, what can we use a packet for?
A packet of biscuits.
Maybe biscuits, packet of biscuits, maybe. We didn't talk about potatoes.
Maybe potatoes. I think a bag of potatoes.
I think you're right. Bag of potatoes. تمشي حالها. And olive oil?
Bottle.
Maybe bottle. Maybe bottle, yeah. Soup? What about soup?
Soup, a packet of.
Maybe packet of soup. اللي هي المجففة ممكن السوب المجففة maybe. Dried soup or I don't know.
Maybe carton.
Maybe carton.
Or a box of.
Box I don't think so. Box عادة جاف يكون زي الباكو شوكولاتة. Box of chocolate. But let's take a look. I think your guesses are good. I like them. But let's take a look and see some of the examples mentioned here in the book, so we can take a look. So here it says ما أعطانا بعض الأمثلة. But خلينا نشوف لو في هذا الcontainers. Can you see it? This is a bottle. So a bottle of biscuit, a bottle of ketchup, a bag of crisps or a bag of potatoes. This is the tin, a tin of cat food, a box of chocolates, a can of orange juice or lemonade, a carton of orange juice or maybe milk. We have a jar and we have a packet. Okay, so these are some examples. Now let's see some of the common collocations. So you can say a bottle of milk, a bottle of beer, a bottle of ketchup, a bottle of olive oil, a bottle of lemonade, ماشي الحال. You can say a bag of sweets, a bag of potatoes, a bag of crisps. You can say a tin of tuna, a tin of biscuits.
Also soup with a tin.
Yeah, a tin of soup. دي الشوربة الجاهزة هذه تسخين بس, correct. A tin of soup, a tin of beans, a box of chocolates هذه قلناها صح, حتى هي box of tissues كانت صح. A can of beer, a can of lemonade, a can of orange juice. أنا مش مذكورة لكن تمشي حال. A carton of milk, a carton of orange juice, a carton of soup, and a jar of honey, jar of jam, jar of marmalade, a packet of biscuits, a packet of sweets, a packet of soup, a packet of beans, a packet of tissues, a packet of crisps. Packet تمشي مع البحاجات. We usually use a tin for food and a can for drink. هذه واحدة من الفروقات الثانية. من غير نوع الحكة حتى المحتوى. So if it's food, it's usually a tin, like tuna or tomato paste. But if it's something you can drink, it's a can. So marmalade and jam are, I think they're closely related, marmalade and jam. Okay, so marmalade and jam from citrus. Jam is made from soft fruit. Okay, so this means our answers are actually quite good. We didn't make any mistakes, I think. All right, so we can go back. Let's take a look. All right, so these were different containers and how to talk about them. So here it says in part B, we did part B. Number 2, test, blah, blah, blah. I can skip this. All right, now let's talk a little bit about recycling. Do you want to have a break for prayer or وبدأ يعطل? I think,
yes.
Or do you want to pray after the lesson وخلاص? What do you think?
No, I want to pray.
You want to pray. Okay, so let's
when we finish the
time is very short. Yeah, Isha is almost. You're right. Okay, so let's have a little prayer break and then we'll continue after the break. Okay. All right, so see you in a bit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See you.
Okay. Okay, is everyone back?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a look here. We have some speaking questions. So here in question number 3, they want to know if we have any recycling laws in our country. Do we have any recycling laws in our country?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any laws in our country. But I'm sure we don't have recycling laws. I don't think we have recycling laws. But if we wanted to recycle, can we? Is there a way we can recycle things in Libya?
Yes.
How can you
yeah.
recycle anything in Libya?
We have to buy a machine for recycling something like plastic. We have a lot of plastic tires.
But I'm talking here about us individuals, you and I. Is there something we can do to recycle?
No.
No. Is there anywhere where we can take our paper, rubbish, or our cans, aluminium? No? Nowhere to take our aluminium cans, paper, plastic? I don't think we have any. I think plastic maybe, because
yes,
plastic bottles
we
there.
don't,
But here in Tripoli, there
there
was
are a lot of tires.
Yeah, there were some places where you can recycle plastic. You just put it, and I think there's a company that uses the plastic bottles, the old plastic bottles. So I think some companies do a bit of plastic recycling, but I think it's very limited. It's not. I mean, it's not on a big scale. It's a very small scale.
Yeah.
Okay, so question number 3, they're asking, what do you throw away that could be recycled? I think almost everything can be recycled now, right?
A lot of things, yeah. Yes.
Because you can recycle plastic, you can recycle aluminium from the cans and tins. You can recycle paper.
Yes.
You can recycle the rubber that comes from old car tires. They also use it in some countries. They use it for running tracks and pavements, and so it also can be used. What else? What about food? Do you think you can recycle the rubbish or the trash that comes from food? Is there a way to recycle it?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Actually, believe it or not, in some countries they also recycle food or waste. They recycle it and they extract gas from it, methane gas and other gases from recycled food or leftover food waste. So there's like a special container where they allow it to ferment, and after fermentation التخمر متاعهم يستخدموا gases, and they use the gases for heating زي الغاز التدفئة أو غاز الطبخ.
Great,
Yeah, in some countries they do
Good
this.
idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Because if you don't do it, these gases will be released in the atmosphere. يطلعوا اللي هو شو يقولوا الاتموسفير الغلاف الجوي.
الغلاف الجوي.
Yeah, and يساهم في الجلوبال وارمينج طبعا. الغازات هي كلها مضرة للبيئة يعني. So there's I think a lot of things we can do. Anyway, so this is what they want us to pay attention to. We're going to talk a little bit about recycling now. But before we do, I want you to take a look at the kitchen here. And I want you to tell me which of the things we talked about here, a bottle of beer, packet of biscuits, carton of milk. I want you to say, to tell me how many of these things can you see in Can you see in the picture here? This is the question. So what can you see?
A ban.
Bin, you mean? Rubbish bin?
Yes, rubbish.
Rubbish bin, okay.
Yes.
What else?
And a lot of rubbish.
A lot of rubbish. Shintani, what about here? What can you see in the cupboard?
I see tin of food, cat food.
Okay.
Tins of cat.
Tins of cat food, that's
and
right.
Also, and tin of tuna.
Correct. A tin of tuna.
Also, a jar of honey.
A jar of honey, okay, correct.
Jar of marmalade.
What's the difference between jam and marmalade?
A jar of jam.
But what's the difference between marmalade and jam?
I don't know. I think it's the same.
In English, it's not exactly the same. Marmalade.
I think.
Najat?
Yes, citrus.
Yes.
We just have citrus and the jam for like strawberry.
That's it. That's the difference.
The fruits.
Yeah, you're right, Najat. Marmalade is usually from the orange family. Oranges, lemons, شنو يسموا فيه والكيني tangerines, grapefruit اللي هم الموالح الحمضيات كلهم المربى متاعهم يقولوا له مرملاطة marmalade. أي حاجة تانية جام. بس مش فرق كبير ما هيش قضية لو قلتي it's not a big difference لكن في تفرقة بسيطة. So we have strawberry jam, a jar of strawberry jam, a jar of honey. Okay, let's see. Najat, what else do you see? Malak told us about some of the things she said that she can see tins of cat food, tins of tuna. She said she can see a jar of honey and a jar of jam. What can you see?
Packet of biscuits.
A packet of biscuits. Yes, a packet of. Is it a packet or is it a package?
Package.
Is it package, a packet? It's a packet. Can you see it?
Packet. Packet, yeah.
Yeah. Package. A package is like it's a bit like a box. A package usually. Okay. So a packet of biscuits. What else can you see, Najat?
Tea.
Tea. What do we call?
Soup.
But what's the container? Is it a jar? Is it a carton? Is it a tin? What is it?
A carton.
Carton? I don't know. I think it looks like a packet to me, right? I think it's a packet. What do you think?
3 packets.
3 packets of. Yeah, I think packets of biscuits.
Behind the biscuit.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe chocolate, a box of chocolates, maybe. I don't know.
A box of sweets.
Maybe a box of sweets. Maybe you're right.
A bottle of olive oil.
A bottle of olive oil. And what's next to it? Ketchup. Your friend. A bottle of ketchup. Yes.
Yes.
And what's
this?
Bag
of crisps.
A bag of crisps behind Pete.
Where is it?
Yeah, here. Can you see it? Behind Pete. A bag of crisps. And here on the table, we have other things. What can you see on the table?
A packet of tea.
A packet. A packet of tea. Yeah.
Bag of potato.
A bag of potatoes.
Box of
Box of chocolate.
a packet of sweets.
A packet of sweets.
Carton of juice.
A carton of juice. Of orange juice.
Carton of orange.
Maybe a carton
Bottle
of
of lemon.
a bottle of lemonade.
A can of cola.
A tin of cola.
I think can is better. Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
have four cans of cola.
A cup of
Sorry,
Bag of apples.
a bag of.
apple, yes.
Are they apples or are they oranges? Or are
Maybe
they
oranges,
potatoes?
but
I don't
no
know.
potato.
Yeah.
There is the. No, there is a potato here.
Yeah, potato is next to the cola, right?
Side box. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe onions? Do you think onions?
Sweets.
Sweet.
Some
Yeah.
Packet of sweets.
Packet of sweets. We have a cup of coffee also. Can you see it? Yeah, so these are examples of how to talk about containers. So you can talk about containers in this way. So now let's listen to their conversation because Pete, James, and Val, they're going to have an interesting discussion about recycling, actually. They're going to talk about recycling. So it says here, listen to James, Val, and Pete and choose the correct answers. Okay, so before we listen, just take a quick look at these points, please. Take a look at these points and when you read, after you finish them, just let me know so I can go to the listening track. Okay, have you read the 6 points?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Now let's listen. Let me start the track for you and let's listen to their conversation. So here we go. Okay, here we go.
Track 31.
Hi, James.
Hello, Val. Hi, Pete. Come in.
Hi.
Are you ready to go?
Not quite. Do you want a coffee? I've just put the kettle on.
Yes, sure. You get ready. We'll make it.
Okay. Oh, there's a bit of pasta left if you're hungry.
No thanks. We've just eaten. Well, I've found some coffee, but there's no sugar.
There's some in that jar by the toaster.
Oh, yes.
There's enough milk for 2 cups, but not enough for 3, I don't think.
It's okay. I'll have it black.
And can someone feed the cat? There are plenty of tins of cat food in the cupboard. He has 1 small tin.
Sure. Here you go, Kitty. James, where do you put your recycling?
In the bin.
What? The rubbish bin?
Yes, that green one over there.
You should recycle things like tin cans. Too much rubbish is just thrown away when a lot of it could be made into something useful.
Yeah, you're probably right. I never recycle anything, I'm sorry to say.
Well, you're not the only one. Hardly any people in our building recycle stuff. Did you know that Germany recycles over 70% of its rubbish, but in the UK it's still only about 40%?
That's not much, is it?
No, it isn't. And there aren't enough places to recycle in this city. And did you know that on average, every person in the UK throws away 7 times their own body weight in rubbish every year?
Really? Wow.
Well, it's never too late to start. There's a lot of stuff in your bin that could be recycled. Look, there's loads of paper and several plastic bottles. The bottles can be made into clothes, and the paper is used to make toilet paper. And all these empty cat food tins can be recycled, and the metal used for making fridge parts.
You seem to know a lot about all this.
Well, there's plenty of information on the internet, but it takes time to change people's habits. People are naturally lazy, I think.
Yes, too many people just don't make the effort. But the government should do more too. In Germany, people have to recycle their rubbish. It's the law. They should do that here too, I think.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I've got a few friends who recycle things like you do, but most people I know just throw everything away. But in future, I'll recycle what I can.
Come on, we're late.
Let me get my coat. Won't be a second.
We made a little progress there, I think.
Yes, I think so. But I think he should recycle that coat. It looks like his cat sleeps on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a look at these questions. Let's see if we can answer them correctly. Before we need to listen again, we can, but let's take a look. So it says Val and Pete don't have anything to eat, or they have something to eat. What do you think?
Don't have anything to eat.
Okay.
They have something to eat, but they don't want to.
Okay. All right. Number 2, James recycles some of his rubbish, or James doesn't recycle any of his rubbish.
Doesn't recycle any of his rubbish.
Okay.
Doesn't.
Maybe James is Libyan, that's why. Okay. Number 3, the UK recycles 70% of its rubbish.
40.
40, okay. British people throw away 3 times their own body weight in rubbish every year, or 7 times their own body weight in rubbish every year?
7 times.
7.
7 times.
Okay. Parts for fridges can be made from tins or from plastic bottles.
I think plastic bottles,
Okay.
but I'm not sure.
All right. Number 6, it says James is going to recycle in the future. James isn't going to recycle in the future.
Is going
He
to
is
recycle.
going to recycle. All right, let's see if there's another question before we listen again. So this way we can, okay, so let's see. Let's try to answer this one. وبعدين نتأكدوا من الزوز from both questions at the same time. So who says these sentences? Is it James, or is it Val, or is it Pete? What do you think? Well, I've found some coffee, but there's no sugar. Who says this?
There is a lot of. I found some coffee, but there is no sugar. He's a veil.
Okay. So let's say he. Who says there's enough milk for 2 cups, but not enough for 3? Who says this?
Maybe the women. What is her
Val.
name?
The woman is Val.
Oh, and the man is.
The men, we have 2 men. We have Pete and James.
Okay, Pete.
Oh, so number 2 is Pete, or number 3 is Pete?
No, number 2 is Pete. Number 2 is
Okay.
Pete. Number 3 is V.
All right. Okay. What about number 4?
Pete.
Okay. Number 5, too much rubbish is just thrown away. Who said this?
I think James.
Okay, maybe James. Hardly any people in our building recycle stuff.
Veil.
Val, okay. And there aren't enough places to recycle in this city.
Jane.
James, maybe James, okay. There's lots of paper and several plastic bottles.
Veil.
Val, okay.
Oh,
There's plenty of information on the internet.
I'm not sure about it.
Okay, no problem. Number 10, yes, too many people just don't make the effort.
Veil.
Okay. I've got a few friends who recycle things.
Maybe beat.
Okay. We made a little progress there, I think.
I'm not sure about, but I think need a little progress. Yes, veil.
Okay. Now, I think it's a good idea if we go and take a look at the script. This way we know who said each sentence, and we can also take a look at the first question to correct both of them at the same time. So maybe that would be better. So let's go to the script. Let's take a look. CD2, track 31. CD2, 31, CD2, 31. Okay, here it is. Can you see it in the middle? Hi, James.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the script. So here we go. Let's listen one more time so we can check our answers. Let's start.
Track 31.
Hi, James.
Hello, Val. Hi, Pete. Come in.
Hi.
Are you ready to go?
Not quite. Do you want a coffee? I've just put the kettle on.
Yes, sure. You get ready. We'll make it.
Okay. Oh, there's a bit of pasta left if you're hungry.
No thanks. We've just eaten. Well, I've found some coffee, but there's no sugar.
There's some in that jar by the toaster.
Oh, yes.
There's enough milk for 2 cups, but not enough for 3, I don't think.
It's okay. I'll have it black.
And can someone feed the cat? There are plenty of tins of cat food in the cupboard. He has one small tin.
Sure. Here you go, Kitty. James, where do you put your recycling?
In the bin.
What? The rubbish bin?
Yes, that green one over there.
You should recycle things like tin cans. Too much rubbish is just thrown away when a lot of it could be made into something useful.
Yeah, you're probably right. I never recycle anything, I'm sorry to say.
Well, you're not the only one. Hardly any people in our building recycle stuff. Did you know that Germany recycles over 70% of its rubbish, but in the UK it's still only about 40%?
That's not much, is it?
No, it isn't. And there aren't enough places to recycle in this city. And did you know that on average, every person in the UK throws away 7 times their own body weight in rubbish every year?
Really? Wow.
Well, it's never too late to start. There's a lot of stuff in your bin that could be recycled. Look, there's loads of paper and several plastic bottles. The bottles can be made into clothes, and the paper is used to make toilet paper. And all these empty cat food tins can be recycled, and the metal used for making fridge parts.
You seem to know a lot about all this.
Well, there's plenty of information on the internet, but it takes time to change people's habits. People are naturally lazy, I think.
Yes, too many people just don't make the effort. But the government should do more too. In Germany, people have to recycle their rubbish. It's the law. They should do that here too, I think.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I've got a few friends who recycle things like you do, but most people I know just throw everything away. But in future, I'll recycle what I can.
Come on, we're late.
Let me get my coat. Won't be a second.
We made a little progress there, I think.
Yes, I think so. But I think he should recycle that coat. It looks like his cat sleeps on it.
Okay. So I think we know who said each one. I think the second question is not very important. We don't really need to say who said what. I don't think this is important, but this one I think is good. So number one is correct when you answered have something to eat, صح? Or maybe وش ياكلوا, correct. James doesn't recycle is correct. 40 is correct. 7 is correct. Plastic parts for fridges can be made from tins, not plastic bottles.
Yes, correct. Yes.
هذه بس كانت غلط، باقي كلهم كانوا صح. All right, so this means we'll continue next time. And when we start with this in our next lesson, we'll start with quantifiers. So we'll talk in detail of when to use nothing. If you want to talk about nothing, you can use not, you can use any, not any, you can use no. But if it's a small quantity, you can say not many, not much, if it's uncountable. Because here it depends. Are you talking about an uncountable noun or a countable noun? It's different. Whenever you talk about nothing or a small quantity, a large quantity, more than we want and less than we want, and in addition to the correct quantity. فكلها على قصة الكوانتيتي، الكميات، طريقة التكلم عن الكميات. هذا اسمه موضوع quantifiers. Quantifiers. All right, so we'll start here in our next lesson and we'll finish number 6 and we'll do the other exercises. Yeah, we'll do the other exercises and maybe we'll manage to finish this lesson and start with the next one. All right, so see you next time. Good night and have a good night.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.